living this life, not just dreaming it, we're doing it for it. Straight, straight, straight to the top. Working hard every day just to leave out that tower.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte and the Pharaoh, only seen here from Rockstar Studios in Huntington, New York, live from Village Connection Broadcasting. At the desk is none other than Warner with their songs Yes, Yes. Straight to the top themes, the theme song for Monte and the Pharaoh. You can catch them on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere music is bought. And you can catch them at Statfest in Conklin, on Conklin Avenue in Farmingdale, I think on September 9th.
Oh, nice.
So it's right down the street. I'm going. Did you know there was like
Farmingdale?
Did you know there was like a stadium over there?
No.
So when I used to play football when I first got out of the Army, there was like this little high school or whatever. From what I understand, they built some kind of stadium or something right on Conklin Avenue.
Huh.
So there's like 12 bands are playing. So it's like almost like a Lollapalooza thing.
That sounds awesome, dude.
And you know how much, Aqua Cherry, I'm telling you, if any band's going to make it, that's going to be the band.
I love those guys.
They are awesome, right?
Go to see them, maybe we could stop and get something to eat. Well, that's true.
Not a good idea at all. Anyway, how was your weekend, my friend?
It was good, bro. My problem with water is continuing. My problem with water. First, my car.
Why don't you tell the fans out there like what you've gone through
with
water?
So you know, it seems to rain on Wednesdays the last 4 weeks in a row. So 2 weeks ago when it rained, I was going home and went through a little puddle.
Right.
And my brand new car was totaled.
Oh my God!
It didn't go underwater. It just sucked some water in the engine or something, and they totaled my brand new car.
Right.
So you know, they have this thing called gap insurance.
Explain to people what gap insurance is.
So,
because this is, not to cut you off, this is really important for people, right?
Public service.
There's secondary insurance too. Just we'll talk about gap insurance in a second, but the secondary insurance, if you get hit by an uninsured motorist, you're only covered for like $25,000. God forbid you get in a major injury. You've got to pick up that other insurance. I forget the name of it, but I don't know. Call your insurance agent. It's like $8 a month, and it's like, if you get hit by someone, you could sue for like hundreds and thousands of dollars, and you're covered. So, anyway, gap insurance.
So basically, when you buy a new car, if the car's worth, let's say, $30,000, and you drive away and you're driving around for, let's say, 5 months or so,
right? The
car's now worth $25,000, and you probably still owe $29,500 on it.
Right? Yeah, sure.
So I happen to owe $5,000 more than what I'm sorry, $6,000 more than what my car is worth. Wow. So I have to pay that.
Wow.
So then 2 days ago I was swimming and I decided that I would go in with my phone in my pocket.
Well, did you think the phone was like those waterproof phones?
No, I just didn't realize it was in my pocket.
Well, there you go. And now you have no phone.
So now I get it tomorrow. And then my third problem with water
oh my God.
involved my toilet bowl kept running.
Yeah.
So I went and got it fixed with a $7 part.
Right.
And I put the $7 part in.
Was it the flap and the chain thing? Or?
It was just this little fun, something like that.
Right.
So I'm on the couch. My wife's like, babe, the toilet bowl's not working again. So I'm like, what? I'm freaking all twisted. I get up. It's the chain. The chain came off. So I'm like, no big deal, right? So I take the back off the toilet bowl. I put it by the sink. And I'm fixing the chain. And I can't get it. It's caught in the corner. I'm trying to get it. And my elbow goes up. And it hits the toilet bowl
cover.
And it goes into the sink and punches a hole in my bathroom sink.
Oh, my God,
the size of a silver dollar.
Wow.
Now imagine me having to explain that one to my wife.
Yeah, sure.
Babe, what's the matter? Nothing.
Nothing. I
closed the bathroom door. Nothing.
Yeah, but you know what? If it was my wife, she'd be like, "You can't even fix a fucking toilet bowl. What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Fortunately, my wife did not say that because I
your
was
wife's
about
good people,
to put
man.
a bullet in my head.
She always seems very supportive.
Yes.
If I would have drove into a puddle with my new car, my wife would have been going, "What are you, a fucking idiot? You're as stupid as I think you are."
Actually, your wife called me and said, you're as stupid as my husband.
That's right. He must be rubbing off on you. I used to think you were a smart guy, but now you're hanging out with this guy. You're stupider than ever, right?
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. So I had a rough weekend this weekend, man. We lost our dog of 14 years, Bella.
Oh.
it's weird as you get older and you know you lose things. Like look, you know your parents pass or you know whatever, but especially with animals, you know you spend all this time with them and you build this type of relationship, and then they pass. It's rough. You know the story behind the dog was my wife. We had some. You ever see a Shiba Inu?
I did not.
So we actually had gotten a Shiba Inu from a store right here in Huntington as a puppy. And eventually, you know, this dog kept on trying to run away. Like, you know, it was a runner, just like everyone.
Right.
Long story short, the dog ended up getting hit by a car and passed away.
Oh.
So my wife was, she was destroyed, right? And long story short, this person has this dog and she doesn't want it anymore. So my wife takes it and ends up being a volunteer at a dog shelter in Huntington for, I don't know how many years, 13, 14 years, like dedicated her life to these animals. But anyway, Bella was the start of that whole thing. Right. So, you know, out of nowhere, Bella just started getting sick, and then quickly she just went down. And you know, this weekend, you know, we put her down, and it's always just, you know, it's funny, you know, for people that haven't witnessed death or something like that. There's nothing worse than watching the lights go out on either a human being or an animal. Yep. Unfortunately, I've seen both too many times, and you know, there's nothing more. I don't know. I'm lost for words. It's just when you could see the life go out of something.
It's a check. It's a, you know, it puts you in check.
Yeah, it does.
Know, like you realize that that's it. You know, that it's not waking up. You know, it's tough.
No, and you know, I get pretty upset. My wife was smart enough. She's like, you know, she's scared, so she gave me the dog, and I held the dog, and instantly, the dog was calm. Right. I guess, you know,
the dog senses it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, she went, and it was rough, but again, it's nothing that anyone else doesn't go through, but
it still sucks.
I feel like it's important enough. I mean, you know, I don't like to post a lot of stuff on Facebook. I think, you know, I really think it's stupid on social media where people like, you know, oh, my eye got fucking poked out, and they're fucking putting on, oh, I lost my eye, it's on the floor, and they're fucking texting. Oh, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
Bro, I love when you see something on Facebook like, not knock on wood, this is not a nice thing, but my son was in a horrific car accident. He's in an emergency room.
Right.
I have to get there within the next 6 seconds before he dies, but I'm going to write this on Facebook
Yeah, and
first.
prayers. Dude, I totally get it. I look at this stuff and I go, isn't it personal? Like, when it... Dude, I've seen people take pictures of people, like, laying...
in a casket.
In a casket, at a gravesite. Yeah. It's like...
on a deathbed.
Oh, my God. I just don't understand.
A friend of mine posted a picture the other day, and if they're listening, they're going to know I'm talking about him, but their parent was, I'm not even going to say mother or father, was very sick and pretty much going to die any moment.
Right.
So here they are, laying in their bed, and my friend takes a selfie. But the selfie is like...
first of all, if anybody's watching, if you see Jim, like, acting out the sits. Like,
the selfie, and they put their head in front of their dying parent, and they're smiling like...
What the...
I'm just here with my parent who's going to pass away any moment now, and I just wanted to get this last picture. Really?
And with all that being said... Like a month and a half. No, well, like a month and a half ago, they shut down my Facebook page. Like someone tried to hack it, I guess, so they froze it to make sure everything was okay. It was like lasted 48 hours. It was torture.
Yeah, I remember.
I couldn't handle it. It was
like, torture for me. I couldn't get a hold of you. I'm like, Mike, I got to share something with you.
You blocked me. What's going on? So anyway,
nice.
Not my thing. Not my thing to take pictures. I did post my dog Bella. Again, it's almost to the point I don't want any more animals. That's it. I've had it.
I've known you for not that long, bro. 2 years, and I'm trying to think how many animals that you've put down since I've known you. It's more than 3. Yeah,
and they've all got some form of cancer. Now, obviously, they're older. Look, that's the other thing. The longer you live, something's gonna get you.
Oh yeah.
Like people are like, oh my God, you know, sooner or later, you know, this is the way life is, right? Something's gonna get you, and you know, whether it be a heart attack, cancer, whatever. It doesn't make it nice, but it's, you know, it sucks, and you know, we're closer and closer every day.
Hey, come on, man. I'm so depressed now.
So I think over the weekend, did you catch that Patrick Swayze documentary,
I
dude?
have to say, bro, I saw it and I passed it by. And then I saw the post that you put about how great it was.
Right.
And now I'm sorry that I passed it by.
And now they don't even let you watch it on demand. So I got to tell you, I turned it. Look, I'm a big documentary guy, right? But it's got to be something I'm interested in. Right? I love wrestling documentaries. Evan Ginsberg, who's on the station every Sunday, he's actually the associate producer for 350 Days, which is a wrestling documentary, which I like very much. But, you know, Patrick Swayze, for me, you know, when I was in the military, I got to watch him in, Dirty Dancing.
Yep,
you know, I mean, I must have watched
Roadhouse.
Dirty Dancing. Roadhouse, which gets a bum rap.
It's one of the best movies ever, bro.
It is what you could put a 24/7 show, just Roadhouse 24/7.
Yeah. But I'm looking at the list of shows you have here, and there is one that I actually like better than that.
All right, well, so let's go through the list. All right, ready? Outsiders.
Great movie.
Your favorite of the group? Well, we'll go through the group.
Not my favorite.
We
yet.
spoke about Roadhouse. Ghost.
Nope.
Point Break.
Yes, sir.
Point Break is the best Patrick Swayze movie ever.
Tiana, I mean, come on, it's got everyone in it.
Oh my God, how good is that movie?
Really good.
The remake, on the other hand, was just total trash.
Yeah.
Here's a movie that people don't remember, and it's actually very good. Next of Kin.
I honestly don't remember that one.
So he's a country guy, and he has a brother, and the brother's involved in the mob, and he works in
I
city,
do
and he
remember
gets
that
killed.
one.
So he goes on this revenge tour, right? But anyway, back to the Patrick Swayze documentary. This is what a documentary is all about, man. It's like makes you laugh, makes you smile, makes you cry. I was crying like a baby at the end, dude. It's like this guy was ultra talented.
Yeah, he was.
Athlete, dancer.
It's so sad and crazy how what happened to him, because that guy was healthy, bro. I watched the videos of him. That guy was in like tip-top
Yeah, but dude,
shape.
he was a major drinker and a major smoker. You know, once his father died, according to the documentary, not to give anything away,
didn't know that.
he went off the rails a little bit. You know what I mean? But I got to tell you, if I was to make a documentary, that's the way I would make it. It's the interviews with the people, all the actresses, Demi Moore.
Oh my
you know,
God.
the whole list is long, and how they spoke about him. His ex-wife.
Yep.
Or his wife, you want to call her wife.
Widow.
Oh, my God. Still loves the guy. Still loves the guy to this
He
day.
was a great, I mean, obviously I didn't know him personally, but you could tell that he was a good guy. You know,
Yeah.
especially by the way people talk about him, the fact that he never had any negative press about him.
Well, I will say this. In the documentary, they explain how he was upset because he was never taken as a serious actor. You know, it seems
Not
like
even
when
Red
you...
Dawn?
Dude, I think when these guys do their art, like, you know, you hear it all the time, like Superman, Christopher Reeves, right? The original Superman.
Yep.
The guy hated the role. You know what I mean? Because it's like he was pigeonholed in this role.
Right.
It's like, you know, dude, it's like, you know, Herman Munster hated being Herman Munster. Fred Gwynn.
Meanwhile, they're famous for those roles.
That's what it is, you know, like, you know, James
Dirty
Gandolfini, right?
Yep.
Tony Soprano.
Bro,
You
I
know-
saw him in some great roles, James Gandolfini. I never knew that he was
Dude,
in
but
a
I
lot
got to
of
be
roles.
honest with you. I'm a Gandolfini fan. Might get a lot of slack. I got a lot of slack for something I said last week. I'll say this. Limited actor. You know, I saw him in The Castle with Robert Redford.
Okay.
It's like Tony Soprano as the general of the army. It's like same voice. He's
Yeah,
trying to tone it down, but it's the same deal.
I saw him in a movie where he was playing a maybe a hitman or something, mobster or whatever.
The Mexican.
And he was gay.
The Mexican.
He was great in that, bro. For him to play a gay guy, that was a
but it was
great
Tony
role.
Soprano as a gay mobster. You know what I'm saying?
You can't picture that.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you watch Gandolfini's, look, I love him. You could give me Tony Soprano anytime. That's a series I could watch 24/7 too. Every time that's on, I could watch it. It's not, you know. I want to thank the Monte and the Pharaoh sponsors. Without you guys, there would be no Monte and the Pharaoh show, and not often do I make this announcement, so I really should start doing this more often. But I want to thank Off the Rails Coffee. You can go to www.offtherailscoffee.com. You've got high quality coffee beans for a cheap price, and you get it delivered to home. So instead of going to play overpriced Dunkin' Donuts stuff that's in a Dunkin' Donuts bag and it's some generic coffee, because that's what it is. Am I allowed to do that?
You can do that.
would that like be libelous?
Don't you remember the commercials in the 70s, Coke and Pepsi?
Yeah,
Beep, beep.
Right, that's right.
They don't have to do that anymore.
That's right.
Now they just dog each other.
So this guy makes his own coffee from only the best beans, man. You had some the other day. It's friggin' awesome. So, you know, I'm telling you, it's sold on Amazon, www.offtherailscoffee.com.
Nice.
I also want to thank SeatLinks. SeatLinks is the only ticket agent to go to. Any concert I go to, any wrestling event I go to, I dial up www.seatlinks.com and I get myself some tickets. In fact, someone that works for me got himself some Rolling Stones tickets from SeatLinks.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. And the price, he said the seats were great. The price was reasonable. He didn't get gouged. You know what I mean? So by all means, you know, instead of going to Ticketron or trying to figure it out, I'm telling you, go straight to www.seatlinks.com. You'll be in good shape. Dumpster Rentals of Long Island. You need a dumpster. You need to clean up your house. By all means, go to Dumpster Rentals of Long Island. Give them a call. They're always there to take care of you. You know, we always got to clean up, right? If you would have damaged your bathroom anymore, you might have had to gut the thing. You might have needed a dumpster.
Yep, might have to do that still.
Varola Worldwide for your only logistics needs. I mean, again, there's a lot of logistics company out there, everybody. Trust me. They're not really a logistics company.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people promoting some kind of logistics company. It's some dude at a phone. When you call him, he upcharges you. He calls Varola. Varola does all the work, and you're paying the vig.
Oh,
Trust me, that's how it's done. So don't fall for this other crap.
So we're giving you a direct line, right?
We're giving you
Varola.
like the real logistics company, right?
That's
you know,
impressive.
again, you got to call this guy, and he'll give you everything you need. Yeah, he sure will. He'll call everybody else and upcharge you. So, you know, that's the way that works. And by all means, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, go to www.monteandpharaoh.com. That's AND. Tony Atlas is offering right now, he will create a picture of your choice, signed for him, totally made for him, from him. You know, it's a one of a kind. It's a one of one. It's not a one of 1,000. It's not a one of 32. It is one of a kind. Right now on the screen is one he made for the Monte and the Pharaoh show. That is one of the most incredible pieces. By hand, he made that. I'm telling you guys, you know, not to be morbid, but Tony Atlas is going to be around forever, and to be able to get something in your memorabilia collection.
And he's selling prints on our site too, right?
And he's selling prints on the site. That is correct. So, again, go to www.monteandthepharaoh.com and, you know, get you. There's a picture of you, me, and Tony Atlas with the drawing. I got to tell you, I got to hang it up in the man cave.
Yep.
And,
We got one hanging up right here.
We got to hang it up right here. Well worth it. And, again, not often do you get someone as famous as Tony Atlas to make you that type of artwork.
Absolutely not.
All right, man. So what else is going on? We're going to get to some wrestling, right? We've got some shows coming up. I want to go over those. Some big events coming on September 21st. David Sammartino is in house, son of the former living legend Bruno Sammartino. If you are a wrestling fan, by all means, you do not want to miss this interview.
Nice.
David really doesn't do many interviews, doesn't really do any conventions, so this is a real, very rare interview that will occur only on Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. So September 21st at 3 p.m. And then September 22nd, we have none other than Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Hall of Famer.
Look at him carrying that American flag.
Look at him carrying that.
Love it.
Proud, brother.
I like to see an Antiva take that flag out of his hand.
Dude, I got to tell you, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was white hot in the late 80s, man. That guy was on fire, and he'll be able to tell some crazy stories. And again, you don't see Hacksaw around in these neck of the woods, so, you know, it's a can't miss. And also on September 22nd, now defunct ECW manager, referee Bill Alfonso will be sitting in the chair next to me for a one-on-one interview. You don't want to miss that. Bill Alfonso is quite the entertainer. Nice. I think you'll enjoy him, Jim. He's pretty funny.
He seems like it from the picture.
On October 22nd, we've got Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Hall of Famer. You can't, you know, everybody knows who
Look, bro, let my hair grow so he can get a little haircut when he's here.
Look at you, Brutus is going to cut your hair.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish he could cut my hair. Maybe I'll let him do a little trim here, you know. Marty Jannetty's been in house with us twice, right? And then the Barbershop, which was hosted by Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So Brutus will be in here. Brutus just recently was inducted to the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Deserved it. I thought it was great. November 14th, coming off the heels of the 3rd season of Glow, we've got original Hollywood from Glow. I know you're pumped for this one, man. That's going to be a great interview. I'm very, very excited for that. She's good people.
Yeah.
Spoke to her a few times already. Yeah, she's,
nice.
And I've been kind of communicating her about the event. And
Nice.
Total professional, man. Total professional. So I'm very excited to actually have a one-on-one interview. November 15th, Hillbilly Jim will be in house.
Jim.
Hillbilly will be sitting next to me, and at some point we'll be interviewing Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell, known from WCW, and also Too Cold Scorpio will be in the house, and there's some heat between Too Cold Scorpio and
Really?
and Buff Bagwell. So maybe if I can get them in a room together, we could get some fireworks. So, and at all these moments, right, we've got the Pharaoh glasses and hat, and if they decide to don the hat, they will then become the Pharaoh. So, like we say, we could have David Sammartino Pharaoh, Hacksaw Jim Duggan Pharaoh, Bill Alfonso Pharaoh.
I mean, these guys have played some great roles in their careers, but never as great as playing the Pharaoh.
That is true. That's a good point, dude. That is, with great power, great responsibility, man. Great responsibility.
So, bro, I've been wondering, the show has been so popular. I mean, it really has taken off with all of these interviews and stuff ongoing. The last couple of interviews were unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But people ask me when you're going to change the logo, bro. As a matter of fact, just Bill on the last show was like, "What's up with the Monte and the Pharaoh?" The logo, it's just Monte now.
So that's a good question. A shout out to Jimmy Reese, right? Jimmy
Reese.
Jimmy played the Pharaoh on the show. He's the originator of the Pharaoh. He made the character come to life. He did a fantastic job.
Yes, he did.
Jimmy is a multi-talented musician, and he's done, what he did for the show is incredible. Jimmy left the show. He had some differences. Again, there's a lot of people that keep reaching out to me. They're like, "Oh, what's going on between you two? You got to make up." And I'm like,
right,
bro, there is no problem between me and Jimmy Reese at all. In fact, you could catch Jimmy Reese is actually doing his own wrestling podcast.
I caught it yesterday.
Did you catch it? Running Radio.
It was
Pretty
awesome.
good show, right? I think it's like 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. Running Radio, Facebook Live. Jimmy
Caught Mr. Big last night.
Yeah. Mr. Big was on there. Mr. Big, quite honestly, comes in the studio.
I wonder
quite
how
often.
many suits that guy has.
Dude, he wears that same red suit all the time, dude. What do you mean, how many suits does he? Could you imagine, like, Mr. Big's got, like, 8 suits in his closet? It's the same red suit. But I got to tell you, I watched a show. It was very, very entertaining. The two of them together were fantastic. The guy,
Sean looked like he wasn't feeling well. Maybe he had a stomach virus or something?
I don't know.
He didn't look so good.
But, again, I don't know. Dude, what do you want me to say? I have no idea. Sean was not very talkative.
He was like...
I don't know. It's okay.
Biting his
Sometimes you don't
nails.
feel like talking.
He was biting his nails.
He was biting his nails.
No,
I don't
I'm
really
kidding.
watch the video, so I don't know. Look, dude, don't you feel like not talking sometimes?
All the time.
Just don't do it during your show.
As a matter of fact, the next show we have, I'm not going to talk.
We just don't say anything. We'll just stare at the space. But I got to tell you, so you could catch Jimmy on Running Radio every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I love the show.
Yep.
Jimmy knows wrestling. He surely knows a lot more wrestling than I do. I'll be straight out honest about that.
Or I was gonna say that, bro, but
it's okay.
It's still good.
It would be hurtful if you did, but
You're a good interviewer, though, so it makes up for it.
Look, I think my thing is interviewing people.
I can't wait. I always have the camera ready in case there's a teardrop coming out of the guest.
There's two things you might get with me, right? You might get the teardrop
Or
from
you
the
might get
guest,
a
or you might
brutal
just get a
fight.
punch right in the face.
Punch right in the
Either way,
face.
that's what I'm saying. When we do the interviews here, it's not about arm bars and what you did in 1972.
What made you start wrestling?
How did it feel when you stubbed your toe at Madison Square Garden? Did it hurt? No, that's not the shit you're gonna get. So it's gonna be like, hey, when you got to the locker room, how many blowies did you get in a row? And were you snorting cocaine while it was happening? That's what we want to know.
Oh my god!
All right, I'm gonna talk a little wrestling, Jim. You ready?
I'm ready.
Tony Schiavone, former WCW NWA Georgia Championship Wrestling announcer, has now signed with AEW. AEW is that new organization that will start up in, I believe, September.
Nice.
Probably not direct competition with the WWE. But anyway, Tony Schiavone has been around for quite a while. Really good announcer. Fantastic announcer, right? But here's the problem. I listen to these wrestling fans out there, or, you know, people chime in and they're like, you know, and they bitch about like these old guys that continue to wrestle, like Goldberg, Undertaker, you know, Shawn Michaels. It's like, retire already and let the young guys get their spot. You know what I mean? Shouldn't that fall into announcing too?
I would think so.
It's like,
right?
oh, it's okay though that this 50-something-year-old announcer, by the way, who was a good announcer, was not a great announcer. So Jim Ross, who was pictured with Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross is a great announcer. You want to put him in the seat? I got no problem.
Nice.
But if, you know, at least stay true to what you believe. You know what I mean? So if you're going to say that old wrestlers shouldn't be interrupting in the growth of young wrestlers, then do me a favor. You know, say the same thing about announcers. There's other announcers that want to do well. So, you know.
Step aside.
Step aside. Or stay true to your convictions, people. Don't be up and down. It's like, you know, if you're left, stay left.
Yep.
If you're hard left, stay left. You're hard right, stay right. If you don't want old guys wrestling in the ring, then you don't want old announcers. Come on. Stop it already. Holy cow. All right, man. So we had Raw on. Raw was a good show on Monday. I call it a tale of two title reigns. Braun Strowman has always seemed to be a guy in the WWF that they were going to put the Universal title on, right? So anybody that's been a WWE fan,
right?
Braun Strowman was going to be the guy with the Universal Championship, right? That's the ultimate belt. It was only a matter of time. So when Braun came on the scene, he's this big, undefeatable guy, right? It was like, oh man, this guy. It's like, you know, when they build certain wrestlers, they built like the Ultimate Warrior, or Goldberg, or even the Undertaker. These guys you could not beat, right? So with Strowman, he was that guy. Like, who can beat this guy? He'll beat up 5 guys. No one can beat him, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so he was a pretty scary guy. He started with the Wyatt family, and then he grew out of the Wyatt family and then went into, like, individual wrestling or whatever else. And then, you know, then they let him do some mic shots, which he wasn't great at, but he was funny, right? He was a growly, like, you know, I can't do the imitation. Jimmy used to do the imitation better, but he started becoming a joke, right? Because then it's like they started putting him in these funny skits, and then eventually he just became a joke, and then all of a sudden he was just knocked into oblivion. I mean, I hate to say this, but I consider him being like a Hacksaw Jim Duggan type of guy, and not a knock on Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but Duggan played a role of, you know, you got guys that wore the belt, you got guys that contended for the belt, you got guys that you were scared of or you took really seriously, and then you got the fun guys, like the Bushwhackers were fun and things like that. They put Strowman in a place. There used to be this group, I'm going to dare say it, is the Oddities. There was a group out there, the Oddities. They're all weird-looking guys, and they used to come out and wrestle. It was during the Attitude Era. And I could almost say Strowman was put into that level where he was just this oddity guy that, you know, that people just weren't taking seriously.
Right.
And then to make it even worse, at one WrestleMania, Strowman's going to wrestle for the tag team title, and he's going to pick a partner. He goes out in the audience. And I actually like this. I know the wrestling fans were killing it, but he actually pulls this young kid out named Nicholas. And Nicholas is like, I don't know, some 10-year-old kid, right? And he goes on to win the tag team titles with Nicholas. And wrestling fans just, you know, they lost their shit, dude. You know, you talk about Trump and everything else. People were losing their shit over this kid Nicholas winning the tag team title, dude. It was like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, I think it's kind of cool, man. I thought it was okay. It wasn't a bad deal. So, you know, won the tag team titles from the OC.
Nice.
But the best part of this storyline is it's so old school. Rollins wants a tag with him. Strowman really doesn't want to tag with him. He's eyeing that Universal Championship belt. He wants it, but he goes in tag team, and now they win these tag team titles, right? You know, in a few weeks to get this event, Clash of Champions coming out, Strowman's going to turn on this. Something's going to happen, right? Like, you know, back in the day when Mega Powers would get a Hogan, like, got hurt or whatever, and Macho Man got mad and ensued this fight over it. You know, and I'm perfectly fine with it. There's nothing wrong with it not being a swerve. You know it's coming. Now you're just going to wait for it. And it's old school. They're actually doing things that, you know, they're giving, like, just like, they're actually acting like eye motions. Rollins is talking to Strowman about being his tag team partner, and Strowman's just kind of looking at the belt.
Right.
You know, and as a wrestling fan, you're like, oh, he's eyeing the belt.
Right.
To me, that's so old school. I love it. Again, some people shitting on it. I don't understand. I don't even know what people want anymore.
Right.
But I got to tell you what, for all these Strowman fans that thought he wasn't going to win gold, he's going to win gold. We talked about Buddy Murphy last week. Buddy Murphy wrestled Roman Reigns in what I considered a 4-star match on SmackDown. Buddy Murphy on SmackDown this week wrestled a dark match. So a dark match, for you non-wrestling fans out there, is a match that they don't televise, and they kind of get a feel of what the crowd is, you know, if they're vibing on.
Okay.
You. So back in the old days when they used to introduce you to the territory, they'd usually put you in a couple of dark matches to see what kind of feedback you'd get. You know, when Razor Ramon was in here, he was talking about his first dark match coming in over as Razor Ramon. It didn't go over well. It really wasn't. He didn't get a lot of heat off it. So then they try to tweak your character before they actually bring you on the screen.
Right.
So they kind of, you know, so. For what I understand, Buddy Murphy did really well. He seems to be this next upcoming rising star, and he had him defeat Daniel Bryan. Sorry. So Buddy Murphy looks like this up-and-coming star. Very excited for it. Other wrestling news, NXT is moving to the USA Network. NXT was on the WWE Network. It's still on, but they're moving it to the USA Network. So AEW makes its debut, and guess what it's going to debut against is NXT. So it's a good question, do we, as a wrestling fan, if you're not a big NXT fan, and I don't think there's a lot of them out there,
right,
you don't really know these wrestlers, and you don't really know these AEW wrestlers either, because you know the main guys. There's like 4 or 5 main guys in each of those organizations, so it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on there. Actually, Chris Jericho responded on Twitter this week. He puts, "Congrats to the WWE NXT for making the big move to the USA Network. Runners always race faster when somebody's right behind them.
That's true.
Gonna be fun and see which team the world decides to join. Choose Jericho at AEW Wrestling at AEW on TNT." So certainly AEW is probably a little upset over this move, because the WWE is not going to let someone crawl up their ass from behind, right? Squash them before they can be not squashed.
Right. Yep.
That's the way I do business anyway. Jericho also added, "Oh, by the way, WWE NXT on USA Network, you're welcome." Industry changer. Give me some feedback on this. What is this "you're welcome" bullshit? I haven't just heard this from this. The reason I put this is because I've been told you're welcome. What is that about, dude? Please explain that to me.
You're welcome. Did he do something?
I guess he's saying, hey, like, thank you, NXT guys. Now you're going to be in the mainstream because of me.
Because of me?
But I mean, people have said to me, like, "Hey, man, you're welcome." Like, what? Like you did something for me.
Yeah. That's almost like someone trying to grab onto your glory.
Yeah, exactly. Go suck a dick, right?
Go suck a dick.
That's what I say all the time.
That's the second time I've heard that in 2 shows today.
Go suck a dick. I think that's probably the best response you can give anybody.
Yeah.
They can't respond to it.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's enjoyable. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose were in the news this week. They were seeming to hint that they might be more than friends recently. Rose even commented about the possibility of this angle happening, but the WWE has seemed to back away from it. So Sonya Deville is a known lesbian, which is fine, right? She's a lesbian. She's very close with Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose seems to be like a really nice human being. Both seem to be a very nice human being. In fact, on YouTube, I think you could go see Deville Donuts, or I'll put it on the page. But I got to tell you, 2 funny people. But the story, from what I understand, is that Mandy Rose would have teased Deville that she wanted to be with her, and then eventually turn on her. So
That's
use
interesting.
her attractiveness as this gorgeous blonde and suck in this lesbian. Thank you. Here's a couple of rules. I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
I'm going to give you this. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, lipstick lesbian. What do they all have in common?
They're all fake.
Thank you. Because they don't exist. But on the other hand, Sonia Deville, I find very, very attractive. Mandy Rose, holy shit, dude. I mean, if anyone's going to turn around and say Mandy Rose isn't probably one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen.
How does she stack up with your favorite? Because they do seem to have a similar look.
They do.
With my eyesight, it's hard to tell the difference.
I gotta tell you, dude, it's like if I was with either one and the other one hit on me, I would cheat with the other one. Sorry, I'm just calling it like it is.
You only live once, right?
It's not just that. They're smoking hot, bro. All right, man. This comes to my favorite segment of the show.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right? The Evan Ginsberg Rant of the Week. Oh, I love it. Evan has a show every Sunday on Village Connection Radio from 11 to 1 p.m. It's the most...
eclectic.
Thank you. I can never get that word down. That's why I never say it, because I stumble on that word.
Just think of electric, but
eclectic. See, I can't do it. It's something that just won't come out of me. But Evan is widely known. I actually call him the one of the secret gems of professional wrestling. Evan was the associate producer for The Wrestler, which is one of my favorite movies, and 350 Days. And from what I understand, Evan has announced that he might be writing a book. A tell-all book on the Evan Ginsberg life. So, can you post a rant? Because I don't have it on my run sheet, and I'd like to read it. Every week, Evan posts something about politics, religion, or wrestling.
We stay away from the politics.
We stay away from the politics or religion, but I do like the wrestling rants. And then, when I have a guest, I'll ask them if they agree with it or not, and they'll tell me if they agree. In this case, I don't have a guest, but
I'll answer.
You can answer.
Or you can answer, too.
Okay, so you ready?
I'm ready.
So far, in one magical morning discussing wrestling on social media, I've been cursed by one kind soul, one genius, wished me pain and permanent injury. Man, some of these wrestling fans cross the line into obsessiveness. If you, gasp, disagree with them on anything, may just be time to get out of mom's basement and start dating and channel your energy in more constructive way.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, Jim?
Yeah. I mean, like, what kind of conversation do you have to be having with people that you don't know where they curse you out or wish you bodily harm? That's never happened to me, except for people I know.
Well, especially over professional wrestling. I mean, for all the fans out there, it's fake.
What?
Right? It's like, I'm sorry, I used the word fake. Okay, they're not fake athletes. I'm not saying it, but it's not real. This is my whole problem with the whole thing. I'm a Jet fan, right? And I'm going to fight and wish someone bodily harm because they're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And in reality, do you think these...
Were you fighting with Pete?
About...
He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
No, but we weren't fighting. I didn't wish bodily harm on the guy. So my point is that what's my point? My point is that you could disagree about something, but do you think these millionaires, including these wrestlers, really care that you're so emotionally invested in what's going on?
No.
What could you say about professional wrestling that would trigger someone to wish bodily harm? So in this case, I do agree with you, Evan, on that. You need to get out of your basement. You need to start dating. There's more important stuff than professional wrestling. Yeah. There is nothing anyone could write about professional wrestling that would make me want to beat them up.
Okay. Let's just say I'm a writer, and I write that something negative about Alexa Bliss,
Yeah, we fight.
would you fight me?
That'd fight you. That's
Just
true.
wanna be clear. You know,
Hey, listen.
there is a line.
You always find the hole in anything I try to prove.
There's always a hole.
There is always a hole. That is true. I want everybody to also remember to catch the Evan Ginsberg show this Sunday from 11 to 2. He's going to have guest media expert Erica A. Erica A. is well versed in the world of television and film.
I don't think that anyone knows as much about television as she does.
I don't think anyone's watched more television than Erica A.
She says that, yes.
Could you imagine dating Erica A? What do you want to do tonight? Let's watch a
TV.
movie. Let's watch TV. Hey, honey.
You want to go out tonight?
Want to hook
No.
up? No, I'm watching Game of
TV.
Thrones. Want to go to dinner? No, watching TV.
Can we bring the TV with us? Oh, we love it though.
Jazz great. Make sure you get this name right. Karsten Radke.
Yes, he is a nice guy, man. He actually just messaged me the other day. He's a good guy.
Has he played in here before?
He has. He's from Germany. He comes here once a year for a little stint.
Are you a big jazz guy? Have you been a big jazz guy?
I like jazz, but he does, and I don't want to. I'm not going to say anything negative, but he plays. Evan calls it avant-garde guitar or something, which means that he just flows and doesn't really play. He's just like making sounds and.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna catch it.
But he is a fucking nice guy, and he is a monster with that guitar.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I gotta tell you, I always love when they he had who was in here last week. I'm sorry, I forgot her name. The singer.
Oh yes, Karen Bella.
Oh my God. Unbelievable.
You like that?
What an act. I thought
great.
she was fantastic. And then like Evan, you know, he's got a media expert, a jazz guitarist, and he's bringing in wrestler Super Nitro.
Super Nitro.
So I think Super Nitro is also going to be on the wrestling card. Evan's going to be on. Evan also plays the role of a chauffeur in Team Splendid.
Ah, I didn't know that.
And then to top the show off, we've got world-renowned journalist Jim Phillips. We'll be in studio.
Wait, what? I thought he was. I thought he did videos.
I don't know, dude.
Ghostbusters or something.
I know he's a world renowned. He's a great journalist.
All right.
He'll be here. It'll be fun. Cool.
I'm personally not going to be here.
You're not?
I'm taking Sunday off this Sunday.
Who's filling at the desk?
You.
Oh, hello. Here's big news for you wrestler fans out there. The Rock has tied the knot with his longtime love, Lauren Hashane. The 47-year-old actor announced the news via Instagram on Monday. So it's like, hey, I'm getting married. Let me post on Instagram.
Did you? I heard today that The Rock.
Yeah.
This is big news. This is amazing.
Yep.
He's the highest paid entertainer of this past June to June at, I believe it was $87 million.
Wow.
How do you make $87 million?
That's a guy that I thought was so oversaturated that his career was going to end.
Never.
But he pulled the right trigger.
People love him. People love him. Non-wrestling fan, women.
Yep. A lot of wrestlers did cross over to film. Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
He didn't make very good films, but he did cross over.
He was one of the first, I believe, with
that is
Rocky,
correct.
right?
Yeah, but that's like a cameo type of thing.
Yep,
he actually made where he headlined, like he was the lead actor, and again, I like No Holds Barred. It was right. Roddy Piper was in a lot of movies. Stone Cold Steve Austin's been a lot, but no one has transitioned like The Rock, right? So it's funny when I talk about Hall of Famers and the older guys, which I love. As much as you love the older guys, when you talk about great wrestlers and everything they did, these guys like The Rock, Stone Cold, they're on top of the list because, when you transition over like that, that just shows how great a wrestler you were. The XFL has made an announcement. They've got the names of the 8 teams, and they put the logos out. I'm not going to put the schedule up because I really don't care that much, but these are the teams. I'm going to read them off. The Dallas Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, the Los Angeles Wildcats, the New York Guardians. I guess that's a play on the Guardians that with the red hats that used to troll the streets.
The Angels.
Yeah, the Guardian Angels. Yeah, thanks. St. Louis Battlehawks, Seattle Dragons, Tampa Bay Vipers and the Washington Defenders.
They all got pretty cool logos and names.
The logos are hip.
I think the LA Wildcats is a little off. You know, LA, California, they should be more like the maybe the.
All right, you're a betting man. How long is this gonna hang around for?
3 seasons.
Going with 3.
Yeah.
The original XFL lasted 2 seasons.
Oh, all right. So
very interesting fact for you non-football fans. After the XFL was done, the NFL took a lot of ideas from the XFL. Most importantly, the production value.
Yep.
There were no wires on cameras until the XFL, and that became a mainstay for the NFL.
that totally changed the
So again,
NFL.
another reason why I love Vince McMahon, right? The guy just knows how to produce stuff and give fans. Look, again, football to me is a bad idea because, you know, I heard the Plumbers were on before us. By the way, the Plumbers get tons of views, man. It's crazy how many views these guys get.
Oh, bro, and you know what? I made very good friends with the Plumbing Outlaws.
Really?
Yeah, I'm their bud.
Now you're an outlaw.
They've taken me on as a
As an
I'm
outlaw.
their first client.
You're a first client
I'm
of the
their
Outlaws?
first client.
Okay.
They're gonna eliminate certain problems that I have.
So like the mafia of plumbers.
They're the mafia of plumbers.
Nice.
Yes. And
To
they
get
do
with
a
the
good
wrench.
job. Yeah.
So I heard you guys talking about sports and the longest season. You are correct. Hockey is the longest season.
Bill knew it too. He just didn't want to give it to me.
Right. So baseball has most games, but they
Yes.
play every day
Yes.
with like a couple of days off. Football's once a week, 16 weeks, playoffs if you're lucky to make it. Hockey extends
months.
that shit from October to June.
It's like 10 months.
Yeah, it's a
9
long.
months.
If you go to the Stanley Cup, you're playing
yeah,
well into
into
summer.
June.
Basketball also another sport that extends because if you're a basketball or hockey fan, there may be a time you don't see your team play for 5 days.
Yeah.
They have like a 5-day break. And they deserve it too, right? A hockey, you know, it's tough on the body.
I think hockey's one of the most toughest sports.
I think as an athlete, the easiest sport to probably play would be football.
No.
Yeah.
What I know they play like 3-second plays and it's
Well,
over.
it's not just that. It's like if you're really big, you could be a lineman. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You know, if you're really fast, you could be a running back. But, you know, baseball, hockey, I think are very, very difficult. Basketball's difficult. You know, for me, I can't skate worth a shit, so I'd give it hockey.
Yeah.
All right, I'm running out of time here. I want to go over the ratings. We're coming out of the opening of the King of the Ring and also the Roman Reigns mystery storyline on like who is trying to kill Roman Reigns. Ratings are for SmackDown are down by 1% to 2.164 million viewers. However, Raw average went up from 2.53 million views to 2.729. So again, these aren't, you know, this might seem like little numbers, but they're actually big numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all you wrestling fans that have no money, this is your time to tune out because you have no money, and we all know this. So, and you're probably not interested, but the stock closed at 74.07 yesterday when I wrote the script. I didn't check it today. So again, as the stock goes up and down, it may not seem like a lot as a shareholder because if you do own shares, you probably own 2, and
Right.
it's a matter of nothing. But when you actually own the company and you drop from 92 to 74, you're talking hundreds and hundreds and millions of dollars. You are correct, sir. Other news, The Miz and Maurice brought themselves a $6.4 million mansion in California.
Wow.
So if you want to turn around to me and say, these guys deserve lifetime pensions, lifetime health care, do you ever have a chance of buying a $6.4 million house, Jim?
No.
Have you ever worked for a place that after they let you go, they say, hey, you know what? We're going to fire you, but guess what? You've done such good work for me, I'm giving you lifetime health care. Has that ever happened to you?
I don't know. Listen, the only place I know that exists is firemen, policemen,
You retire.
teachers. You
You
retire.
get fired.
30 years
do you
in.
still have your health insurance? No.
30 years of service.
Yeah.
And you get. But what if? Okay, so let's just say, for argument's sake, a wrestler wrestles for 2 seasons.
Right.
They're entitled to lifelong benefits?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
They're an independent contractor. They have a right to negotiate their contract. They get paid on that negotiated contract, right? If you can't negotiate, that's your problem.
Right.
Look, I feel bad for Kamala. The guy's in a wheelchair. They cut his legs off. I feel terrible, okay? But, dude, you know, you let people run you over, man. You took $600 a match while Hulk Hogan was taking $25,000 a match. Wow. Who's right, who's wrong? You know, again, it's what you take. You go into a job, right? You're interviewing with me, right? I want to hire you. And I go, all right, I'm going to pay you $13 an hour. But you know you should be getting $25 an hour. If you take the $13 an hour, whose fault is that? Is it my fault because I'm a crook because I really know you're worth $25?
Shame on me.
It's called negotiation, right? Anyway.
Part of the game.
I don't want to... Part of the game. And again, for all the people out there that feel bad for, you know, again, only in my next lifetime do I have a possibility of marrying a hot woman that's a 10 that, like, every time you see her, you want to sleep with her.
Like my wife.
There you go. Exactly. Well, you're halfway there then. You just don't have the $6.4 million
Not yet.
house.
Not yet.
Okay.
The station's going to get me there.
That's all that matters. Hall of Famer Ric Flair threw out the first pitch of tonight's Houston Astros game. So Ric Flair is throwing a pitch out. So for you Ric Flair fans who were worried he wasn't going to make it, hey, look out. He's doing okay. Nice. Very happy about that. And any of you Rusev fans that were worried, stop making up stories about me because it's bullshit. All right, so that's it for Rusev. And the best storyline of the week, who wants Roman Reigns dead? And they take a hood off some guy, and he looks like...
Charles Manson?
He just looks like some other dude that's wrestling.
Holy cow.
And then they had a skit where it's like Sasha, why, right? Like Sasha, she was going to be on the King's Court. Sasha, why did you beat up Nikki, whatever her name is, I forget at this point. And Sasha pretty much says, "You're welcome."
You're welcome.
She throws
There's
the "you're welcome"
again.
All right. So we're out of time. It's 9:05, holding on the schedule. I want to remind people to catch Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh scene here Thursday from 8:05 to 9 p.m., where we've got a huge September coming. You're going to see wrestlers that you won't have an opportunity to see on any other programming. It's a huge month. It's going to be a nonstop, fun-filled interview. And again, when you are watching a Monte and the Pharaoh interview, you're not going to get some bullshit. And like you said, you might get a tear or you might get a punch in the face. But one thing for sure is you'll get some laughs. So sitting in the chair next to me will be one of these icons on a daily basis, and I'm very excited. I want to thank Village Connection for hosting our program on a weekly basis, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody and hearing everybody on social media. Chime in how you like the show, and please share and help build the audience that's making us as popular as we are. Catch you next week.